This is my speech number 3 for my my speech class. It's a persuasion speech. And I believe that safety of our school-age children and grandchildren is of the utmost importance. Every day as I drive to work down I-64, I see a sight that bothers me to no end. I see school buses full of kids driven down the highway, and some of the kids are standing up and jumping around and jumping up and out of their seats. And I can't help but wonder what would happen if that school bus were in a crash. I also wonder how many of those kids would go flying if a school bus were to roll over. I hate to think what would happen. And because I hate to have that image in my head, I believe in the need for seat belts on school buses. In the few people that I've asked as to why we don't have school buses on our buses here in Hampton Roads, I haven't been given a valid reason as to why we don't have seat belts. One reason I received was that if there was an accident or a rollover with a bus and the children would need to be freed, the seat belts would hinder a rescue mission. It would hinder the process as there is only one bus driver and up to 50 kids on a bus. Another reason I received was that it wasn't in the budget to install the seat belts on the school buses, and I think both reasons are not good enough. According to a school bus safety manual that I found, in 2008 alone, over 24 million elementary school and middle school children ride the school bus every year. National figures show that approximately 68% of the students ride a school bus to school each day. However, nothing in that safety manual talked about the mention of seatbelts for students, but it only talked about a seatbelt for the driver. How fair is that? I don't think that's fair at all. Yes, I understand that the driver is an adult, and in the event of an accident needs to be the one to be the safest to be able to help the children in case there is an emergency. But I ask why there can't be 2 adults on a bus in just such an event. When I asked the question, I received an answer of feasibility and that it wasn't in a budget to have 2 adults on a bus with all school-age children. In recent years, there have been several school bus accidents, and many of the kids were hurt or even killed. Could seatbelts on the school bus have prevented these injuries or deaths? Maybe. Maybe not all of them, but maybe not. Maybe they could have in 1 or 2 of the cases. In the majority of them, seatbelts were probably a better idea than not having seatbelts at all. Take, for instance, in one such accident in January of 2010 in Rocky Hill, Connecticut, a school bus carrying a 16-year-old boy struck another vehicle and careened off the road down into an embankment. The 16-year-old was tossed from his seat, and he later died from traumatic head injury caused in the crash. In Indianapolis in March of 2012, a school bus crashed into an overpass and killed a 5-year-old little girl who was not strapped into any kind of a car seat. Accidents like these may be unforeseeable, but the outcomes could have been very different. According to the National Highway Transit Safety Authority, school buses are one of the safest forms of transportation, and that school buses are already built for safety with their compartmentalized high-back seats, their bright colors, and their lights. They also claim that they feel that the high cost of school buses equipped with seat belts would result in fewer buses, thus making more kids take private transportation, which they also feel is 20 times more likely to kill a child in a car accident. But what happens when the kids are not sitting properly in their seats? To me, their reasoning and their beliefs seem to go out the window. I feel that a 3-point safety seat belt would and could save the kids and even prevent the kids from jumping up and down in their seats. My suggestion for people who feel the same way I do about having seatbelts on the seatbelt on the buses is to contact our local and state legislators. We need strong suggestions. We need to strongly suggest to them that our kids are worth an extra $1,000 per school bus, that it would cost to equip the buses with those 3-point safety belts. We need to tell them mediocrity is not good enough when it comes to the current safety standards of our school buses, and mediocre is what they seem to be. The buses can be equipped with high back seats. They can be that lovely school bus yellow and have bright lights all they want to. That's all fine and dandy, but without seatbelts to complete the package, the other stuff seems like smoke and mirrors. Where would the state get the money to cover the cost of the newer buses? Or where would we get the money to pay an extra person to be on the bus, one might ask? My suggestion is to defund some of the prison systems, as the prisoners don't need flat screen TVs, they don't need gourmet meals, and they don't need a lot of the recreation time and a lot of the equipment and stuff that they do have in the jails today. My suggestion to that is let the prisoners cut the box tops out and let our kids have the money from the government. And one last thought before I end is, if I, as a mother and a responsible, law-abiding citizen, have to buckle myself and my child in our personal vehicle, as per the Virginia State clicker ticket law, a vehicle that has won safety awards by the National Highway Transportation System and has the safety monitoring equipment, I might add, why then is it okay for them to decide not to have to buckle my child into a huge yellow rocket to and from school and special events? It just doesn't make sense to me.